Last week we started to read Mark from chapter 1, verse 1. And Mark said, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. The beginning. And we looked how Mark introduced Christ as the herald of something new and something extraordinary, a new creation. When Jesus comes into the world, God made flesh. He does not come to make things better. He comes to make things new. There is a big difference there. And so when he comes to make things new, creation, prophecies, the history of our salvation, we see all these things pointing the way towards him, towards his life, ministry, death and resurrection. At the beginning, now halfway through Advent, we rehearse all these things coming into place. Only this week we celebrated the solemnity of the Immaculate Conception of Mary. One piece coming into place with the conception of Mary herself, 15 years before the birth of Jesus. Today we see John the Baptist heralding, announcing the coming of Jesus Christ. So we see that the history of salvation, creation, prophecies, John, the last of the prophets, all point towards the coming of Jesus. And as we retrace this story, as we rehearse the story of salvation towards the coming of the King, we find in these the source, the reasons of our hope. Our hope which is firmly placed on the coming of Jesus, the only reason for us to hope. But for those who do not have this hope in the inbreaking of God's kingdom, in a new creation, in something extraordinarily different, hope in Jesus. For those who do not have this, new things falling into place, things pointing toward Jesus, are not a source of joy. They are a source of apprehension, of worry, and of uncertainty. We see that in today's gospel. The people that come to question John the Baptist are not there to be baptized. They are not looking for a fresh new start. They are not looking to hear about the Messiah who is to come. No. They've been sent by worried authorities. They are there to investigate what is happening, because what is happening doesn't fit in the religious pattern of the time. So instead of going to John with joy, they go to him with apprehension and to interrogate him. Are you the Christ? Are you Elijah? Are you the prophet? No. They question him and they said, okay, are you the Christ? And John said, no, quite openly. He says, no, I'm not the Messiah who is to come. Okay, so are you Elijah? People waited for Elijah to come again before the end. And he says, no, I'm not. So it's okay, are you the prophet? Moses in Deuteronomy speaks of a prophet, the prophet who is coming after him. And John says again, no. And you can almost feel in John's Gospel the apprehension of the priests and Levites as they say, okay, fine, so what do you have to say about yourself? So John does something. He quotes to them the prophet Isaiah. He says, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare a straight way for the Lord. He does so that those worried people who do not have hope in the coming of the Messiah, who do not want or respect a new creation, so that they would know that if they are worried about what John is doing, well, they haven't seen a half of it. Because the one coming after John is the Lord himself. In our Gospel, John prepares the way for Christ, so we should listen to him. But also, as people of hope in Christ, we should imitate him. The Gospel says, he came as a witness to the light so that people might believe through him. How beautiful would it be if that was said about us? If somebody had to say something about us, they would say, well, they prepared the way for faith in our society. They prepared the way for Jesus Christ in the hearts of others. That's a beautiful message. And we, as people of hope, the people of hope in Christ, are called exactly to do that.